Nagy here. I just thought I'd publish this little video about my elixir that I use. I call it an elixir for lack of a better name, but I've developed it over the last 30 years for various inflammatory issues that I've had, from throat problems, esophagus, stomach, ulcer type stuff, all the way into the intestines, digestion, and just empirical testing over so many decades, plus actual research. I'm retired from a big science department of a university. And I've come out with this sort of thing that I use now for GERD that I've got, and issues, realize it's the entire system goes through, and that this kind of anti-inflammatory mixture can help with a lot of different issues that are involved with the whole GI tract from top to bottom. I'm using aloe vera. In the United States, we're very used to thinking of this as an external thing to just put on the outside of your body for sunburns, but truthfully, it is a wonderful plant to eat. And a lot of the issues that you deal with, all the way from here to here, are inflammatory issues that are the result of, say, acid burning a part of your tissue and skin. It's a burn, and things that are anti-inflammatory can help with taking down that burn and reducing friction, in this case with the aloe, and it has a bunch of other stuff in it, to help you feel better. And a lot of the stuff we take over the counter, the H2 blockers, the PPI stuff, all the ranitidine and the purple pills and all this kind of stuff, you really can't be on this forever. So I'm going to tell you that, of course, when you watch something like this, and these kind of things are all over the internet, do it at your own risk. And also, if you do not stop doing the things which are making your problem occur, then you cannot take something else to make it stop. You have to stop the thing you're doing that makes you sick and then try to heal yourself up. This is a try to heal yourself up thing. So I'm going to list these foods on the side. If you have GERD, you cannot eat this stuff anymore, okay? If you eat this stuff, you're going to have a problem. And you can't eat after 7 o'clock at night, because you're just going to have indigestion and stuff's going to come up. I also sleep in a recliner. There's Parker. And this keeps me elevated a little bit. I used to put blocks under the bed, but the truth is, it just didn't work out for me. And also my hips hurt a little bit in older age, and sleeping in a recliner all the way back gives me just the elevation I need and takes the weight off of my hips, which means I don't hurt in the morning. So that's just what I do about that. Sort of strange sleeping in a chair, but man, if it makes you feel better in the morning. So I was going to talk about aloe vera. 200 active components in aloe vera. These you can buy at the Mexican grocery store for a couple bucks a leaf, giant ones usually from Mexico. And this is the prime constituent in what I call my elixir. For what I'm treating right now, I have Barrett's esophagus and GERD and reflux and all that kind of stuff. So first thing to do, I stopped eating all that stuff. Don't eat after 7. I stopped taking the pills and all that, ranitidine and everything, because I was mega dosing on that from the doctor. Stay on it the rest of your life. You've got to go down to smaller portions, eating more meals during the day, and then not eating after 7 o'clock at night. This has vitamins, minerals, polysaccharides, enzymes, fatty acids. It's a very interesting thing. It's got A, C, E in the vitamins. It's got B12. Not a lot of things have B12. Makes you feel better. And a lot of good fatty acids in there that are moderators of your cholesterol, things like that. It looks like just a clear gel on the inside, and it is 99% water, but all that stuff is in there in proportions. There's 20 minerals in here, all kind of trace minerals of the stuff you need in your body. 18 amino acids are in here, and only 8 amino acids are considered vital for life. This has 18 amino acids in it, and we're going to add one more to the mix over here, which I found to be beneficial. It's also an adaptogen, which means it sort of helps you deal with stress and free radicals. It's a very versatile thing. It's an alkalizer, and that's very important with the stomach. We're going to add coconut water to our mix over here as another alkalizer to moderate those acids as it goes down. And I'll tell you what the mixture is, what the dosing is, how to use this stuff. And it's also an immune system booster. I can't tell you how it is, but if you look at the research, it does seem to boost your ability to resist disease. It is an anti-germicidal, it's an antifungal. It really is helps you regulate your digestive system. So let's talk about, I'm going to show you how to render this stuff at first, and then we're going to talk about the mixture itself. So here's how you render one of these leaves. I use a grapefruit spoon. It's got little serrated edges on it over here. Makes it easier to scrape out. And a nice sharp knife, like a steak knife. Cut off the very bottom. This tends to be a little bit bitter. In some of the plants it's not bitter at all, and some it is. So I just chop off that little part there. It's hard to render anyway. And the very top where it's really hard to get stuff out. And what I'll do is sort of open these up and chop them up, and we can put them in a little plastic bag and use them for burns or whatever. Then I cut this in half, and I gently sort of push my fingers to the side here as I go down to make a fillet cut right down the center here, and it helps open it right up or right down the center. Do that on both of them. And then I cut right under the edges as close as you can get without getting the green stuff. You don't want the leaf material in there at all. And just cut gingerly right under there. And then you can take your little serrated spoon, a regular spoon works fine too. Hold it and peel it right into your container, which you're going to freeze, and use this stuff as you need it. Frozen, it holds for a long, long time, and it keeps those enzymes and everybody else good and happy for a long time. There we go, get most of it out of there. Just, I got to open up this one here. Same thing, only takes a second. And I do these in groups of I buy about 5 at a time, render it into a couple of Tupperware containers, and that keeps me going for quite a long time. And you want to pick the ones at the grocery store that don't have any red on the back of them. They can get a red bacteria or whatever it is that grows in these things as they get older and have been sitting on the shelf for a long time. So when you're picking them out, pick the ones that are really firm and fully green in the back and don't have injuries on them. A lot of times you'll see injuries, so pick the good ones out and leave yourself space for the aloe to expand when it freezes, because freezing gives about a 10% expansion in size. So there you go. And you'll notice that if you do hit one that has red on the outside or on the back of the leaf, you'll see it here, that sometimes the gel will have a light red in it. I have not found this bacteria to be harmful in any way to me, because I've had to use it sometimes. But also, if there is a little bit in here, even the elixir itself, even when the elixir is frozen, will grow this light pink bacteria in it. And like I said, I just try to avoid it by buying leaves that don't have any red or very little red on the back. You see there's a little bit of red there, but I'm talking it gets all red. So just, pick through the box at the Mexican grocery store and pick yourself some good ones, and then when they see you're buying it, they'll be sure to keep it in stock. So just prep it up that way. I freeze it, and then I take the ice pick and pull it out. I just put some water in the back of the Tupperware, pop it out on the butcher block, use an ice pick, and break off a section of about, like this would be 3 whole preparations. So I cut this into 3 slices for there's about 30 ounces in here total. So about a 10-ounce block of this, 1/3 of this would make, and this is however deep it is. And that would result in the final mix with 15 ounces of coconut water and the round teaspoon of L-Glutamine. Preparation, I'm using the fresh stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get about 10 ounces in there. Now these measurements are not critical. That would be maybe 1 leaf. I'm going to freeze the rest. Go ahead and, first put my 15 ounces of coconut water in there. It's a 33-ounce container, a little over a quart. So I'm just going to sort of go, that's about half. There we go. Put the rest of the coconut water in the fridge for later. And my 1 rounded teaspoon of L-Glutamine. There we go. L-Glutamine dissolves in water-based liquids pretty easily. If you're working with the frozen aloe, it really takes a while for the blender to blend that stuff in. It works better if you go ahead and break it up into smaller chunks. I also will put in my 8 drops of stevia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go 9. That's just to my taste. Stevia is a non-impact thing, so put whatever you like in there. And then blend away. If you are using the iced pieces of aloe, you may have to turn the blender off, move them around a little bit. They can get caught under the blades. So when it's done, it's going to have about 75% or more bubbles from all that coconut water and the aloe mixing together. You're just going to let it sit for a good long while, probably 10 minutes till it, like a beer or something, all of a sudden it will be mostly liquid and a little bit of foam. And then I just use a plastic funnel. You can use whatever you've got. I use some sports drink bottles that happen to be Nalgene in the highest quality of plastic. You might take a look, but glass would be better, of course. We like to stay away from plastic whenever possible. And it's already recombining here. We're about up to there with the liquid. And just wait a while. You'll know when you're done with the blender because you won't see any clear stuff going around the bottom of the blender. That aloe will be busted up. So when most of the foam is gone, you pour it up into whatever kind of containers you've got. Now, something I didn't mention was the aloe itself. I prefer fresh aloe. Fresh is always better. Get it if you can from a Mexican grocery store or wherever you can buy it. The bottle stuff generally has preservatives, and I find those to be irritating. And you don't want more irritation, you want the opposite of that. There are a few brands that come in glass that have citric acid as a preservative, and that tends to be okay, but still you're not getting that super active, biologically active thing you would get with a live leaf. So there we go. I didn't make. I could have filled this bottle up fully and had about a little bit in the next one, or just drank off the rest for my week's preparation, and that gets me about 5-6 ounce little cups, something like that, between the total here. Now the dosing, the way I use this is I use this overnight, and I use about 6 ounces in a glass. I pour it up before I go to bed, and right before I go to sleep, I take a little swig of it, one nice swallow. And then if I get up in the middle of the night at any time and have any consciousness in me or I'm going to the bathroom, I take another little swig. And that's midnight, and in the morning, sometimes I'll get up, say 6, 7, 8 o'clock, or I might, be about to get up, and I'll take that last swig. So I get about 3 2-ounce gulps out of it. And then I'll have breakfast an hour later, so that spreads out the dosing. It also puts it into a stomach that doesn't have much in it, plus it helps to bring down stomach acids during the course of the night. I know a lot of you have lost your gallbladder like me, and that means that your acids continuously dumping into the upper part up here of your intestine, and you want to sort of have something to null that out. Would be awfully nice. So that also helps with that because we don't have the gallbladder to store up that acid overnight. So there you go, there's the dosing. Also, the stuff doesn't really hold for more than about 5 days, and if you let it go any longer, especially if you're using sugar, it will ferment, and you'll know by tasting it. And also the other thing is, your body will tell you when you need to do this. In other words, your body will tell you when you've had enough of this. You're feeling great again. I'm having no problems overnight. I'm not eating all these nasty things that give me reflux and Gerd and upset stomach, and I'm going to sort of back off on it a while because anything you can take too much of, even a natural thing like just eating aloe vera, which is 99% water. So follow your feeling on this. So you back off for a while. If you feel your symptoms come back, then start up the regimen again. I find this a very innocuous, easy to do way to bring down a lot of those symptoms, and I hope really heal a lot of that irritation and that burn up in your upper and all the way through the GI tract. So until next time, take it easy.